So far, we've hard-coded types like string and u128 in our balances palette. That works for a simple example, but it's not flexible or reusable. What if one blockchain, like, take for example Bitcoin, tracks balances in Satoshi, where a single user might hold trillions of units, but it still would fit into a U64. But another, like Dogecoin, might allow balances to grow even larger, requiring the wider range of our U128. In this step, we refactor only the balances palette to be generic over the account and balance types. Your task is to make the palette inside balances.rs generic. So we'll want to make sure to define here account ID and balance. Now, to find out what's next, I'd suggest you run cargo check, or if you have Rust Analyzer, you can just save. The compiler will very efficiently guide you through, or let's say effectively guide you through what kind of errors do occur. Now, we can see, for example, here the first one, and you will want to make sure that you constrain the generics. For example, account ID should implement order and clone, as well as balance should implement 0, checked sub, checked add, and copy. 3 of these traits come from our newly added num crate. So make sure to import the num crate as well. Then you will encounter a few issues, probably here and maybe somewhere down here as well, but the compiler will guide you. Finally, here the compiler will not guide you, but you want to make sure to make it explicit. So, because the Rust compiler is smart enough, it can just implicitly derive what kind of types you meant. Because if we now make here the palette generic, you will need, or you should define, when you create a new palette, balances palette, what exactly you mean. For example, what kind of generics do I want to pass here? What kind of balances palette is this? Because we can create different kinds of balances palette now. So again, the Rust compiler will make it implicit and will automatically derive, based on your code down here, what types you meant to use. But it's better practice to just make it explicit. And you want to make sure to make the same thing in this test as well. Now, after you're done, you will need to move on and define, and the compiler is already complaining, that, hey, our balances palette needs 2 generic arguments. So you want to make sure to define them here as well, like string and u32. Now this should work, and it does. But we want to do this now a little bit different, more modular and extensible and future-proof, right? So we've defined now this mod types. And here in mod types, you will want to say, since we will reuse a lot of account IDs and balance, and we want to make it explicit, easily understandable, as we've said already in the previous videos. We want to make sure that we define here the type account ID, set it as something, and type balance, and set it as something. Now, to make it publicly accessible, and you would probably run this error if you would do it your own, or at least I would, but we need to make it public as well. And now we can go ahead and say types account ID and types balance. Save, and it works. So that's more or less how it will look like. I wish you now good luck, and see you after you're done, and we will go through the solution together.